everybody. Jeff Antoniuk here from Jazzwire. Welcome to Guided Listening. So we're going to listen to like one of the most important jazz standard-y kind of tunes there is. This is called Straight No Chaser by Thelonious Monk. And, you know, I had to do a little research just because it wasn't on the top of my brain. What was the original recording of this? And what I came up with was a 1951 recording off, I think it's Volume 2, Genius of Modern Music album. And the band is Thelonious Monk. It's Art Blakey on drums. I think it's Al McKibben on bass and Shahib Shahab playing alto sax and Milt Jackson on vibes. And this album is sort of a collection of songs going all the way back to 1948. I think there was a session from 49 mixed in with this session. So it's different bands and all that. But yeah, this classic blues song called Straight No Chaser. Now, Monk recorded it in the key of B flat. I didn't know that for decades because in the real book, you know, where I learned most of my stuff, unfortunately, I wasn't learning it from the album. I was, you know, I was probably given some lip service. I shouldn't be that mean to my teachers, but I was told like, yeah, listen to the albums, but like, you know, and I didn't. So I wasn't forced to, wish I would have been. And when I was suggested that this happened, I was just more comfortable reading, right? It was quicker for me to read from the real book than to like figure it out from the album. So yeah, so that's, you know, that's kind of, we all don't come at this stuff or anything in life on a perfect path or a straight path. So my path was not perfect and I've had to learn many, many things along the way later on, as do we all, right? So no need apologizing, just, you know, when we can catch up. So I didn't realize the song's in B flat because Miles Davis recorded it a couple years later in the key of F, and whatever Miles did, that was the rule. Right? Like however Miles did it, that probably became a very famous version or sort of a go-to version for a lot of people. So I'm sure I played this song 1,000 times over the years. 999 of those times were in the key of F. And I remember one time someone said, let's do it in the original key. And I was like, what do you mean? So I had to be told it's in B flat. So I had to quickly kind of figure it out in the key of B flat. So we're going to hear it here in the key of B flat. Hey, before we go on any further, I want to let you know, I mentioned in the last video or two, we have 4 summit workshops coming up in 2026. So like right now, it's October of 2025. It's way down the road. But I want to mention this to you because this is a good time for you to start negotiating with your spouse. This is a good time to start putting $1 or $2 aside for some travel or for some tuition or something, and be thinking about the next year. In March, we're going to be in Napa, California, first annual Napa Valley Summit. In June, we're going to be in Edmonton, Canada, not that far from the Rocky Mountains. Beautiful, beautiful that time of year. And I do need to say this, the Canadian Summit for people from most other countries in the world, incredibly cheap because the tuition is in Canadian dollars. So whatever the tuition is, an American already gets 25 or 30% off. No brainer there. We're going to be in Minneapolis late in July, and then we're going to be in the DC area, Washington, DC area on the East Coast in late July. So be thinking about those, and we're going to have the website up and running, accepting registrations on November 1st of 2025. So about a month from now, you'll be able to go and start claiming your spot. But send us an email and we're happy to pencil you in. We're already 30 or 40% sold out for some of these workshops. Guitar and piano spots will be gone 8 months in advance. So if you're a guitarist, piano player, send us an email, maybe keep that spot because it'll be gone honestly soon. All right, let's listen to this tune. So it's a short recording. It's like 3.5 minutes long. And again, this was this on a 78 first? Maybe not, but it's a short recording. And it begins with a full chorus of Art Blakey. So let's listen to it, and maybe we'll go back and listen to a couple of things. There's some, really fantastic moments in this recording. But check out Art Blakey starting playing one chorus, 12 measures up front. See if you can count through this drum solo. Here we go. So could you hear the time? let's try that again. So key into the ride cymbal. Dang, 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 because he never leaves the ride cymbal. Okay, we have the walking bass, swing and ride cymbal, and Monk. And he's playing with these long, crunchy Monk voicings, right? Sustain. So now we hear alto sax played kind of low. It sounds like tenor a bit. Alto saxophone and vibraphone. So now Monk is not using those weird sustain chords, but he is doing, you know, his comping sometimes is one note. Did you hear that twice as I was speaking? So there's a lot of space, not a lot of comping, right? And sometimes the comping is just a dyad, two notes. So very sparse, right? Woo. Talk about an undersung player, Shahid Shahab. Beautiful Charlie Parker influenced lines. And that was it, one chorus. We're going to go back and talk about Milt's opening in a second. So listen to the interplay between the blues and playing the changes as he's playing. Bluesy into the changes. That was all chord changes. Great chord change playing. Cool. Head out. The head on a blues tune, typically done twice, 12 measures twice. That's definitely the rule. And so that ending, not sure if that got rehearsed exactly. The bass player kind of kept going and then very quickly, bop, boo, dup, kind of figured out, you know, what was going on, but they jumped out of that kind of quickly. So a really short recording, that's the original. Melody was twice, just Monk the first time, and then with saxophone and vibes the second time. I think we had a one chorus sax solo, two choruses from Milt Jackson on vibes, two choruses, I guess Monk started, didn't he? Two choruses of Monk, and then two choruses out. So a total of 9 choruses, but Art Blakey played a chorus up front, 10 choruses, which is not a lot. Makes for a very, very short, very short recording. So a couple things to talk about. Counting through Art Blakey's solo. So we just hear crash, and then the drums are playing. So could you tell the tempo? So an experienced jazz musician definitely could. He was smart. He played at least 2 measures of just time. Crash, dang, 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 dang. So if we know crash is beat 1, dang, dang is beat 2, 3, 4, and goes on from there, right? So being able to hear the tempo get set up is important. Then he starts playing triplets, cross-stick triplets on the snare drum as he's swinging in 4. So there's some polyrhythms going on. So if we get too lulled into listening to sort of that lead voice of the snare drum and the cross stick, we may lose reality, which is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that would be a really good thing, is to go back and listen to that solo and to be able to count through all 12 measures and know here is when Monk and the band come in. This is a fantastic laboratory for doing that. Let's go back and do it. Let's check it out, see if we can do it. 2. 3, 4. And so ignore, and just keep counting. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and. So that's what you do. That's what I do on stage, is I'm like actively ignoring the drummer a lot of the time, because if I like start following them down the garden path, oh man, they can do one thing and I'm done. So my first job is know where the heck I am and where they are. And you know, and then it's like, ooh, I'd love to listen to what they're doing, but that's a little scary. So I mean, honestly, knowing where the form and the time is paramount. And until you can do that, don't even worry about the other stuff. And this is, you know, pragmatically if you're on stage and playing. Of course, if we're just sitting around absorbing this music, like, yeah, whatever you want. But the thing is, if you're not being an active listener, there are these depths you're not getting to. You're not aware that he's playing quarter notes against the groove. Why? Because you can't hear the groove. You haven't even tried. You don't even know it's there because you're, right? So there's nothing wrong with appreciating music on any number of levels. Not everybody needs to know all the nuts and bolts of every moment of every album. But when you know the rules of the game, it's kind of more fun to watch rugby or to watch soccer or to watch ping pong or whatever it is. It's interesting to just kind of watch, you know, balls going back and forth. But if you don't quite know what's in, what's out, is it okay if they step there or not? You get it, right? Okay, so let's do this. Let's listen to Milt Jackson's solo. And I love his first chorus because he comes in playing very bluesy, I haven't transcribed it, but it sounds like he's playing the tonic blues scale, B-flat blues scale, for measure 2, 3, and then in the fourth measure, he changes his approach and gets really inside the chords and plays a nice kind of altered dominant sound going to the 4 chord, the next part of the blues. I wanted to talk about that. I made a note about that. Now, in his second chorus, I didn't notice he kind of does the same formula. At the beginning of his second chorus, bluesy, 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 into the changes and swings us. So okay, that's interesting. He could have taken any number of paths through the blues. He kind of did the same thing twice. I'm not saying he played the same notes, but he used the same headspace twice. This is a big deal. So as players, sure, you can transcribe Milt Jackson's solo and, you know, learn from that, maybe even play it a little bit on your gig. But knowing what inspired him, knowing what he was thinking, isn't that deeper than just regurgitating something? We could regurgitate a line of Shakespeare, but what if we really knew what he was thinking behind those words? Deeper. Pretty cool. So let's listen to Milt's solo and see if you can hear that. Blues, 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 and then into the changes. Here we go. Bluesy, right? And then the sun kind of comes out in that moment. He gets into the changes. Here comes the next chorus. Bluesy. Yeah, and then he goes into the changes there. So this idea of blues and then going into the changes. Blues is a sound, we get it from the blues scale, where we're playing over the changes and kind of painting everything with that one, let's call it blue color. But we're ignoring the harmony in a sense. Then in that fourth measure, it's an important harmonic moment in the blues, and he shifts, he stops using that approach, and now he's like, I know the chords and I know all about this, check this out. And he does this great resolution into measure 5. And he did that 2 out of 2 times. And so now I want to listen closer, and it's like, did he even actually play the same thing both times? Maybe. Or did he play different things, but they both revolved around the sharp 9 and the flat 9? I'm not sure. So that's something I'm going to check out. And so this is the way to do active listening, is notice things. Notice if there's a pattern. If somebody does something 2 out of 2 times, 2 out of 3 times, that's big. They value that. And now let's find out what it was, and let's find out why they thought it, right? So this is how great players get good. This is how great athletes get good. They study this stuff. They study the people that came before them. So I love that you're here with me on these journeys and interested in learning about this stuff. And I like knowing these sort of things about stuff I don't even understand. I love watching videos on like quantum mechanics. I don't understand 98% of it, but I love just the little bits that I get are so cool. And, I feel like my view of the universe opens up just a little bit. And I know I missed 98% of it, and I don't care. I love it. And maybe next time I'll get another 1% of it, right? So maybe there are some of you on the journey kind of thinking that way, and that's great. That's wonderful, expanding your horizons. All right. Well, I hope you'll send me an email and we can pencil you in for a spot for one of the 4 summits in Napa, in Edmonton, in Minneapolis, in the DC area in 2026. All of them sold out last year. So we're going to be expecting that again this year. So jump on it quick. All right. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.